just don't understand the concept. And then, you know, they'll make that statement where your mind's on Saturn, your mind's on this, your mind's on that. And then in the next breath say, but we gods. Well, if we gods, didn't you make Saturn? And shouldn't your mind be on that shit as well? Or are you saying you can't keep your mind on both? Well, leave it to the advanced God who could. Because my shit is on this and is on that. And on this, I know this is done. And it's not like I'm really trying to go to Saturn to turn up neither. All that shit is done. We're trying to get beyond this realm. And even if you don't believe in that, you got to, there's, what else is working? What else is working? It's the same old shit. Niggas don't know what, complaining about they doing this, they doing that, and they making me wear a mask. No control.
Hey, Penny.
Yes.
What when I listen to lectures from the brother Bobby, old lectures with him and Clemson Brown, I mean, they put together some classic lectures.
Right.
He talked about how you mentioned Sirius and the importance of Sirius. And he talked about how Set is the oldest deity known to man, and how Set represented Soot, represented Sirius, representing the dragon constellation. And that when the dynastic Egyptians came around, they erased what was going on with the pre-dynastic, the Typhonian Egyptians. What I want to know is and they made Osiris the main deity. First it was Set, but then Set got turned evil by the dynastic priests, and then Osiris came the main deity. So now we Kemetic priests, we Kemetic scholars, and everything is Osiris, and Set is the bad guy. Because we don't know the pre-dynastic era. What beef why did the dynastic Egyptians have so much beef with Set in the pre-dynastic Egyptians? What was so bad about that teaching?
Excellent question, but you got to think of the mentality different.
Yes.
Like they were going deeper in the fall. This wasn't all of a sudden, we wasn't just chilling. White people came and then we were fucked up. We were on a long fall. Just landing here was the beginning of us declining. That's the nature of it. We have to, and Bobby also talked about this, we have to go to the putrid state, the dry bones, before there's a rise. So early on, we retain more of our ancient mind. As we went down, you had just that 1% like you have now who are conscious. So think of us. Think of me and you right now, and we know that Run DMC is the truth. But in the South, you hear what music is popping right now. So how do we, as responsible priests, retain the old rap shit? So when the story is told, someone smart like Bobby, like Panic, could understand that Set is your friend beyond just the devil. See, because remember, it's not just that Bobby told that story. He also told you that Set was your friend. So this was encoded by the priest for a later day. So what I'm telling you, it was encoded by us, Bobby, myself, to come back later to reveal it, because we were falling down. Even Dr. Africa told you they didn't start writing on shit till the 17th dynasty. That's when everybody started writing on shit, because they knew they were going down. So what you had is fad trying to keep the shit fat out. You seen it in your lifetime. Moses was the man in the old Bible. He was the one that he took his people home. Then he gave it away to Yahshua. But they just made it this guy Joshua, but Yahshua is Jesus. They was calling Yahshua Jesus all through Passion of the Christ. So Moses gave way to Yahshua. So in other words, the Savior used to be Moses of the people. Then Christ became the Savior. And then after that, Muhammad became the Savior. And to the Muslims, Jesus is just another priest. So for something new to happen they always overthrow the old guys. And if the priests are smart, they usually make the old guy the bad guy. So he has some role. Bobby used to always point out that even in Christianity, you only see the devil a couple of times, you know, even in that made up fiction. But Set was always standing with all the other deities. Now we know, because it's not emotional. He's the bad guy. We don't like him. Why the fuck you gonna give him shine? It ain't about that. It's really more about them trying to tell you the necessary ingredient, the agitator, which represents that part of your consciousness, perhaps, that keeps saying, that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? That ain't right. And Set has, in the later day, has come to represent humanity. But before, he was that troublemaker like Loki. You know what I'm saying? You could kind of say, and then that just turned into the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? You could actually see how Loki made all the movie plots move forward. And you can see where he's the bad guy. But you also see where he's a part of the fucking family, and you can't have a movie without Loki. You cannot do Star Wars without Darth Vader. So that's Set's real role. You can't do any of this. Osiris can't have a mythology without his brother killing him. And Horus can't have a rise. He can't be a hero without having this guy. So that's how we thought about it. We didn't think about it like, we don't like that nigga, so we're going to start shitting on him. It was more like we were showing the roles of it. And even though before, at an earlier time, they just used him to play that role because they try to retain some of that wisdom because it would just be forgotten and we would move on. For instance, I heard a girl in Japan the other day said rap started with, who did she say? I think she said Master P or some ridiculous shit. Master P, look in the movie Foolish. He said rap started with NWA. Get what I'm saying? So the priesthood knew we better, even if we have to make Run DMC the bad guys in this, we better say their names, otherwise they'll just be forgotten. You think Kid Rock invented the shit. You get what I'm saying? So that's the mentality. I think I hit that right.
No, facts. Definitely
did. All right.
Panic, one thing that we talked about in our conversation for the workshop was you talked about parallel universes or parallel worlds, Doctor Strange, Men in Black 3, and how you also talked about this nebula, about being a sleeping nebula. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yo, remember that?
I know the channel. I know I was telling you.
Bro,
maybe today. I remember feeling I didn't hit it like I wanted to hit it. So I'm glad to get a second opportunity at the titles. Yes. Yeah.
So Panic. So check this out. So let's say we're dreaming this existence and we're dreaming possibilities, parallel universes, which we might call thoughts, which we eventually bring into this projection realm that we call reality.
Yes.
A person who got molested at, let's say, 6 years old, since they're asleep in nebula, did they really get molested? Or was that just a projection of one possibility? And if they're 25, should they completely ignore that aspect of their childhood and should they just block it out, or should they accept it and say, number
one, just on regular advice, they definitely shouldn't ignore anything.
Okay.
They should definitely accept it and do whatever they need to do to release it. I mean, that's primarily what occult work is. After you get past the mind and what you're supposed to be doing, when you do that chakra work, that's the honesty thing I was telling you about.
Right.
You wouldn't be honest with yourself because you're moving down. We already know this is an illusion. That's one of the ABCs that you learn in consciousness. Maya, the illusion. I'm sure there's Shemrock, knock, knock, rock, nah, meta name for the same shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this ain't real. You know, there's always somebody has a story that this ain't real. Khadijah said one time she was looking up and she seen how this shit was a computer fucking make. She was like 10 or 12 or whatever she said she was. She said she started crying. That's how profound it was. It was just a moment of her seeing through the veil, if you will. So you know this shit ain't real. But you can't tell nobody that who's thirsty. You cannot tell them that hungry. So the way you experience this, your mind is supposed to be convinced. Otherwise, why have it? You get what I'm saying? If you're like, I know I'm in my bed, ain't shit wrong, then when you have your dreams at night, you feel the emotion of the moment. That's the point. You're supposed to be experiencing this thing. So you are experiencing it in your mind, but it's not really happening. So how do you have the reference? Let's say you are this God, divine mind without a body. And that means all you are is a mind. And based upon what you know, it must be your power. Well, how would you know things? If Phil Valentine used to say it all the time. Well, man, you know how Phil flows. Well, man, beloved, comes in, and when he comes in, then he flows, beloved. Like what Brother Phil used to talk about was how man didn't know how, or God didn't know how big or how small he was. So coming into a physical world allows him to, and they say that in Kabbalah too. When it's in Ketha, it doesn't know how big or small it is. So it becomes Bina to observe itself, then Hokmah to observe itself, observing itself, and all this old shit. But what the fuck was he talking about again? Yeah, that's when it's coming down. What the fuck was we just talking about again?
Well, we was talking about like say parallel universes, worlds, right? Say a person got molested.
Okay, right.
Know
Okay,
their spiritual entity, they just want to block it out and say that really didn't happen to me.
Right. Okay, I remember. So
that's the right thing to do.
Right. No, absolutely not. Because yeah, and that's what I was saying. When you so the whole idea of this all-knowing God coming down here is to put itself in a situation that it will never be in because it doesn't know how big or how small it is. So it has to come down to earth and can't swim, not the coolest, bow-legged, you know what I'm saying? Not the cutest, or maybe the cutest, and you got to live through that bullshit. But all of these things are ways to put yourself clearly to learn more, because therefore when you leave the body and have none, you're just mind. All you how could you have been raped if the body isn't real and that's not your body? How could your body have been violated if you don't have it anymore? So, or once you discard your body and you move on, is the rape over? Because the rape was a part of the body and you discarded it. So is the rape over? It happened here. And that's the only place it ever happened. And that's what you're bringing to understand some of the most, what we would call the most foulest things to our divine mind. From that perspective, we're just dealing with very dark thoughts, things that will never happen. Right. And to us, for real, we would have to think it. What if Earth is just where you think it? And all these lives and personalities, different motherfuckers down here just getting their think on. Mm-hmm. And that's been said. It's not like me guessing. That's been said. That's what's happening. This is all the worlds of play. That's why we know the future because it already happened. So we're just playing thoughts that have already been played out, actually. Accessing them. There's so many theories, but what is absolutely clear, and you can't get beyond know thyself, is nothing, you should hide nothing from yourself. You're here to deal with everything.
Indeed.
In fact, let's say something terrible happened like that and you forgot it or blocked it. The true occult understanding is, why did you block it? It's really, that's what it's not about. White people, it's not about no fucking economy. It's all about knowledge. It's all about knowledge, and we're here for different things. We're here to get knowledge. Some of us are can't leave here because they don't have enough yet. Some of us come to pick up, like myself, some recruits, and we look amongst those who Earth calls conscious at that moment. They would hear my words. And really, I'm just recruiting for my hood, pretty much. How do you know what it is? I tell you all the time. Do this, do that, meditate like this, eat like this, fuck that, nigga. If you wanted that, you like this, da-da-da-da. No tap, nigga. And if people feel that zone, they can actually merge with that energy later, learn more, because it doesn't stop there. So I don't think we're as wretched as... I don't think we're as wretched. So well, actually, what you're trying to get me to do is go into that channel. Let me just go ahead and do it. All right. So, okay. So it's been bothering me. I've been, because there's so many fucking possibilities, valid possibilities at what this shit could be. But it's been coming very hard, and a lot of answers have been coming since that Beetlejuice light has got here. And one of the things is, let me know the setup, nigga. We gonna get out there and there's a motherfucker. Yeah, motherfucker, let's finish this shit. Punch your ass back in the body. You like, yeah, all right, one more time. Then nigga, oh shit. You go through a whole other lifestyle. All right, nigga. That left though, nah. You jokingly, but you want to know. So one of them nights, shit was coming through hard. And I know it's coming through. All right. It kind of showed me this. Now, I always give this kind of warning, I guess, or precursor. These are channels. These are not book facts. I don't really try to tell someone to convince them. This is not what it's about. The only person that has to be convinced is me. On this one, I'm convinced. I don't mind sharing because y'all know me, but I need y'all to understand. Y'all got to take that for what it's worth. Channelers know how real it is. You don't channel, guess what? I'm just telling you a story. All right, so what I found was it started showing me these nebulas, and you confirmed that was the name. But nebulas are like baby stars. White people who look at their space telescopes would say, those are new stars being born. There's a truth to that. Those new stars are actually the ones who are dreaming on Earth. So we're seeing, remember I told you, this is, anything you see in that canopy is the projectors from here. So this is all internal. So Crowley talks about it. Well, Kamites, everyone talked about it. Crowley was the last one in the West to talk about it, that every man was a star, and that's kind of where they remember it from, though all mythologies is telling you that. You're supposed to become Osiris. Osiris is a star. So, but that's true. You're made of the same stardust. Most star systems are masculine and feminine. Now, I know this for a fact. Me and Khadijah already have a star system, and kind of like Inception, you fill it up with your mind. So when you go, Your mind is only left. You're a star. So you get to make whatever adventure that your orbit can take. And you maintain it. You are truly the god of that universe. All the entities that live in there are aspects of your subconscious mind. Whatever system you create is yours. And you enjoy that motherfucker however you do. Comedians got a whole, I guess we call it a galaxy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Mathematicians got them. Historians got them. You know what I'm saying? The ones to fuck with though is the pan shit. Nigga, I seen them shits, nigga. That's the music niggas. All the music niggas is pan niggas. And you see what music do down here. So we got the biggest party going. You know what I'm saying? I already did the checking, Rich. You're a pan nigga. Well, you're a music nigga. As we see that keyboard in the back, you're a pan nigga. But I should have really even thought of that from that. But so there are recruiters that come down here to bring niggas back with them. Early on, I used to have visions that when I left, a bunch of niggas was rolling with me. Like I brung a whole new team and I was going to show them. I was trying to tell y'all niggas what it was all about the whole time. Y'all the ones that kind of hung out and stuff. Because I will say this. I've encouraged, or let me even say I've discouraged followers. That shit is of no avail sometimes. Like, you know, I just talked to Shabazz. Shabazz like, oh, you constantly just shit on niggas. Because, you know, our people tend to have this religious goddamn poisoned ass handcuffs on them. So they tend to put anyone who stands before them in that. So, you know, you always have to remind them not to. But god damn, there's motherfuckers that's following me state to state and all this kind of shit. Motherfuckers coming from, I'm like, and I get it. I don't take it with arrogance. I understand it's that message. So it makes sense now when I said when I'm leaving, there's a lot of motherfuckers who's coming. They line themselves up with the message. And if my message is that of my box, they're more than welcome to come. And I found they could come, and it's not like they have to stay or it's a prison. They just learn more. They learn more, but what Panic and Khadijah was already talking about down here, just pretty much on the cosmic level, and then they move on. Because ultimately, everyone's a star, and everyone has their own. You get what I'm saying? What I'm talking about is the process of someone being born out of third dimension. There's that. They can go into the fifth dimension, and they're able to sit and do like Doctor Strange and do parallel universes, because what they're doing there is perfecting their mind. Because when they go out to be their own star, their mind is already developed on a level of perfection by dreaming through Earth, nursery, going through the fifth dimension and letting all of those lives pass before them to understand. Even Brother Rich has millions of possibilities. You just study that. And then you move on, and then with your understanding of your mind, you go and build worlds. You know what I'm saying? As God.
Yo.
So this is a training ground. I came this motherfucker to pick niggas up. Let's go, no teppers. Let's go. Get your ass in gear. Yes, sir, Rich.
Hey, Panic. I was talking to Blue the other day, and I was telling him the story. we was on a live like now, and I was telling the people the story about when I was young. I would dream of this like this monster. And I would look in the mirror. Like when I looked in the mirror, I would see the monster. Like instead of seeing me, I would see the monster, and I always get scared. Wake up, reoccurring dream. Then the monster never harmed me, never did anything to me. Then one day, I was like, when I was awake, I was like, yo, I'm gonna face this motherfucker one day. You know what I'm saying? So one day I was sleeping, I said to the monster, and then the monster just disappeared. It didn't come back. So what I want to ask you is that I understand we're taught to hate monsters at a very young age. We're taught to hate darkness. When the older I got, listening to Bobby, I said, well, maybe that monster was the primordial version of myself or some shit like that. Talk to me about the monster program that we undergo when we're 6, 7, 4, 5 years old, and we're taught to hate a certain figure, and we're taught to hate darkness, brother. Talk about that. And maybe about that dream I had too.
Almost definitely. Two things. I broke that dream down for you before.
You did?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes, we were live somewhere too.
Oh,
I remember that dream about the monster.
I must have been on some drugs, man.
No. I just think you may have asked me in a different context.
Okay.
You definitely didn't ask me in this coming from this context. All right, so humanity, we've come to accept it as, you know, look at that sexy bitch with that big old ass right there. Look at them old bouncy titties, and dude got muscles. Oh, you got fat, you got skinny. But to the spirit, all this shit look disgusting. All of this shit is the monster. Your greed, your need to eat, your snots, your pus, all of that shit is monstrous to the other side. So you just came from that other side, and you're actually in a foreign monster right now. So the monster you seen was yourself, which was actually the truth. We just started to accept it as this is what we call beauty and neat and how a face should be. You don't know what it is until your mom keeps saying, "You're so cute. You're so cute." Well, I guess I'm fucking cute. You know what I'm saying? Because if your mom just say you're so fucking ugly and you're the monster, I'm a monster. So you don't know what you are. And to the other side, when you first get in the body, you don't know what you are. And we see monsters. Shit, that's not the only reason. They don't even let you look. Your eyes won't even work as an infant to after a while, till you start getting to acclimated to this world. So spiritually now, when you hear about monsters, you're trained in the occult to understand they're talking about that which is old or ancient, not good or evil. Good or evil is not even in the game. You get what I'm saying? Good and evil is made up. And I always have to find myself explaining, like, if I'm on your so because I know you have a lot of new guys who may not have heard me before. Good and evil, like if you walked up on me and I'm beating up an old lady, you would say, "Oh shit, that's evil." You know what I'm saying? He's beating up an old lady. What in the fuck? You know, bad black guy. But then if I said, "Well, she just killed all my kids and drowned my baby," you say, "Oh, kill her. That's justice." So that same act becomes justice, which is evil. So it's left to perspective, which is another way of saying it's not an absolute, which is another way of saying good and evil is not real. It's a matter of perspective. So in the occult, we get past good and evil. And when you hear things that classically fit into the good and evil role, that's a cue for old and new. So the demons, the older gods, the divas, the newer ones. Set, the evil guy, older, not meaner or bad, older than Osiris, newer. You get what I'm saying? Because to a Christian, Osiris is the devil. You get what I'm saying? So whatever perspective you in, it could be whatever. All that Hindu shit is the devil, not just Ravana versus Sita and Rama. So it's the older versus the new. That's the general. One of the most interesting things, and I decode this and I talk about it in my book. I don't even want to hold that shit up. In the last chapter, I talk about the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon, H.P. Lovecraft. Actually, am I able to share my screen, Rich?
Yeah, I'll enable it.
Give me 1 second. Let me find this first so I can get it up and make it real.
Shout out to everybody in the chat while Panic get that together.
Get this thing going.
Shout out to Sci-Fi, King Simon.
King Simon in the building. King Solomon. Simon. All right, where the hell is this Apple? All right, Necronomicon Magic. All right. What? Yeah, Word, you silly thing. All right, give me 1 sec. Open this crap up. All right. All right, let me share this screen. Say, they're nothing more than, just my stories. Then some occultists found out he would get these stories from dreaming. These were Lovecraft's dreams and continuations of these stories and characters. So the cult nigga said, oh, you channeling. He himself, I'm not channeling. He was just this weird recluse guy. Horror as we know it is because of him. Before him, horror was like Dracula, The Mummy, Edgar Allan Poe, anything that had, The Raven. What was that dude? Vincent Price, anything with that motherfucker in it. That was horror. Then you started seeing after Lovecraft type shit or his impact because he made his work public domain so anybody can write about it and anyone has. All of these movies, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Blob, Alien, H.G. or H.R. Gruger. He did some artwork updating the Baphomet and also creating the Species character. And he also, I have the book in here, he created the artwork for Alien. So all the aliens is H.P. Lovecraft. Cabin in the Woods, Pacific Realm,